Hello and welcome to my series, If I Had to Do It All Again, where I'm sharing my personal story of how I built my business to $500,000 in 1 year. Took me 3 years to get there, crashed it, and how I'm building my business back up into a six-figure business. This year coming up, oh, I cannot wait. But today I want to talk about setting the foundation of my financial landscape. And I really think this is an important conversation to have, especially if you're first kind of bringing your business to life, because it's not something that's easily talked about, money. And also because I don't want you to come in contact with the same things I did. And if you do, I want you just to have a kind of like an understanding or a something you can call back in your brain to go like, oh, I watched somebody talk about this the other day in YouTube. Bang, bang, that's me. So when I launched my business, I had been trying for a couple of years from 2015 to 2017. And 2017, it kind of like hit, right? Like that was the year that everything made sense. I hired a mentor that was far, far, far beyond what I could pay. I was trying to find investors, go to the bank, like do everything, and nothing was working out. And how it actually happened was one of my personal training clients, who was on disability no less, offered to pay the $5,500 deposit for me to do a program with a really high-end mentor. Now, I made the commitment that if I took this money from somebody, that I was going to pay them back with interest. And I would do it within the amount of time that I was in this program, which was 3 months. Now, when I signed up for that, I actually aligned with a mentor who truly believed that spending money before you made it is how money was attracted to you. So long as you were constantly spending every cent that you came in, trusting that more would come in, you would be set financially. And for a while, that really worked for me. Having grown up in an environment when I was little where there was a lot of mental illness, there was a lot of crisis in my life. So I'm really, really adept with my nervous system in being in that sense of like, oh my God, what am I going to do? How am I going to find the money? How am I going to make it? And so I was able to live in this nervous system activation of, oh my gosh, how am I going to pay my bills? I have all these things that I've bought, and now I've got to make the money in order to pay back all this money that I have spent or haven't spent or signed up for. And it was really, really easy, but it was super, super unhealthy for me, right? And I want to talk about this from the perspective of there are so many coaches out there right now and so many people talking about it from the level of money mastery and learning about your money and getting, yourself set up as a business owner and launching your business that state like you have to spend money that you don't have in order to make money to let the universe know that you are ready for this. Let me just tell you, after 7 years and having to file for consumer proposal and hiring and spending over $500,000 on a coach in order to like really live this dream, I don't agree with this anymore. And the reason why I don't agree with this anymore is because it was completely unhealthy and unaligned with my nervous system and kept me in a state of addiction to the hormonal response of fight or flight within my body and living under a state of crisis all the time. No, thank you very much. No, thank you very much. So now I'm at a place and a space in my business as I'm relaunching it that I want to have a beautiful, large sum of money that sits there that I can collect that is like beautifully like nourishing and supportive that I can then take from as I need to expand, to grow, to learn in whatever avenues I'm looking forward to later, like in 2024, right? 2024. I like 2024. So from this perspective of me hiring somebody who said, spend it before you make it, I was spending, I was making, I kept building. I was listening to all of the iterations and the business people because I was aligned in this cultish style container that was also like, if you aren't making double your revenue the next year, you have to do something significant. You have to like spend even more money to declare that you are ready for more revenue to come in. So I would get into these spaces or places where my revenue wasn't coming and I would think, oh, I have to make a larger purchase. That's the commitment that the universe requires for me to like really send the signal that I'm ready for this wealth and this abundance. And so I would just keep spending more and more money in my business. If somebody's like, you need a CFO, I'd hire a CFO. You need a CEO, okay. If you need Facebook ads, okay, I'll do that too. Whatever people told me I needed, I would do. Now, this was my personal experiences, and I'm just sharing them from my perspective of what I experienced. This may not be yours at all, but I want to just kind of share from my version of like how I got to the $500,000, why I crashed it because it was completely out of an alignment with me and my value system, and how I'm actually building from a state of energetic alignment of like clarity and cleanliness within my energy body, right? And so I got to this place where I recognized that I needed to spend more money, hired probably the most expensive coach that I could possibly hire, committed to doing the work with this human. It was the most taxing and the most overwhelming and the sickest I've ever been in my life, because whenever you're in something that dictates who you are and what you do, you have to change your personality, your behaviors, and the way that you show up in order to align to what their principles are, which is completely outside of what I found supportive for me. Not only that, when you're in these types of containers, they tend to have this little close-knit community. I kind of find it, and here's the word that I was going to say before that I was like, this is my perspective. You might not have to believe in it, but this is true for me. It was incestuous, right? These people who were seeking money before actually being in service to their community would just say, oh, you need this thing, you need this thing. And somebody like me who's addicted to the hit of always needing to do the next thing and always being in behind where my money was concerned and having to like strive and grasp and clench and go after and do more things in order to receive more of a return, I would just believe them and I would hire all of the people, which would leave me even more in deficit, more in deficit, more in deficit. Until, and I kind of mentioned it, but I don't think I've actually shared it on live video before, it got to the place where the deficit was so large that there was no way that I would be able to maintain any form of payment to catch up, right? So all the money that I was coming and making got to the point where now I was spending it in all of this deficit that I had believed my mentors had told me was essential in order to make money. And so last November, I applied in Canada for a consumer proposal, which took the $150,000 of debt that I had incurred listening to all of these mentors talk about business, and I minimized it to a 5-year monthly payment with no interest that became $41,100. Let's do that again, $150,000 to $41,100. No interest, paid off over 5 years, which gave me a breath of life. Let me just tell you, since I filed for consumer proposal, which I talk about openly with my community, with my current business mentors, with like all these different people, it is way more done than anyone will actually talk about. Like, people think it's shameful to have done that. I think it is the best decision that I ever made because I was able to take something that was so grotesque, so large that I was not going to be able to maintain, and I was able to minimize it with no interest. I have an outcome. Honestly, I never thought that I would be financially free and own nothing. In 4 years, I will literally have zero debt to my name. And the more I've been talking about it, the more people have come up to me and said, oh my God, I've had to file for bankruptcy, or I've done a consumer proposal. And it is so much, man, I think we need to take the shame around money away. So why this is important for me now today as I'm relaunching my business is, first of all, there is no shame with any decision that you have ever made in your business where money is concerned. If you hired a mentor and they didn't show up and they didn't give you exactly what they told you to do, what was the learning that you were meant to have? What was the experience that you actually walked away with? Can you begin to shift any of these negative experience to see them from the lens of growth and expansion for you? For example, in my life purpose of my human design, my shadow is corruption. I know as an energy healer that I am here to support people in releasing corrupted data within their body and bringing their system to like an enlightened, heightened aligned vibrational energy, which means we need to find the programs, patterns, and protections that you're holding on to bring you to a state of energetic output that is in perfect vibrational like alignment for you and your service. That being said, I know I had to take the path that I did, which allowed me to experience the full expanded idea. Like if you could think of corruption and in your brain, you were like, oh, these are the things that I would recognize as corruption. I went through them all. I've experienced them all so that I can be better aligned to actually work with others in removing the corrupted data within their energetic body. So all very, very much necessary part of my path. The second thing that I learned through this process, and I truly believe this, and I will always say this to the humans that I work with moving forward, is that you really do need to understand your own relationship to money and finances and how that feels for you to spend on things in your business. Now, I personally believed in 2017 when I started, which is where I'm starting back with, is you use what you have right now. Like where you are, what you have is perfect for you to launch your business. I launched my entire business on Facebook Messenger because I couldn't afford Zoom in 2017, right? Like I didn't spend money on any platforms in order to bring my business up. I made the money, and then I spent the money. And then I hired people who taught me something different, and I left that value system. Now I'm coming home to my value system. I truly believe that spending money that I'm making in my business feels really supportive, not only to my business growth, but to my nervous system. I am no longer aligned with crisis money activation and addiction in my business in order to see exponential growth and like feel that sense of like accomplishment in what I'm doing in the world. I also believe that there is a really significant way that you align to what feels good in terms of what you're charging. Now, I have done high-end coaching where I, was charging up to $85,000 for a 9-month container of one-on-one with me, and I have done the same kind of container 6 months for $5,000, right? And in this way, you find where is it that feels most honest, most genuine and most truthful for you to show up A, at the highest level of your service, and B, for your clients that you're working with to receive the change that is required for them to expand into that next level of their growth and expansion. So even in the sense of charging now, I do it from a space of within. Like I sit in my heart space and I align with what is true, what I'm receiving from my guides, from my intuition, in terms of what is the most significant way that I can price my services so that everybody involved is sitting at their highest level of service, of give and receive, and of honoring. And also the last piece that I want to come completed, like kind of full circle with, is to me the most essential piece of also moving forward with my financial landscape, which I wouldn't do before and I didn't give any energy to because I was in the belief that money was just going to fall into my lap if I just kept doing all the things that these people were teaching me, which was really just activating my nervous system and keeping me addicted to fight or flight, is understanding the basic structure of my money, becoming a fantastic steward of my money, understanding taxes, understanding, completing taxes on time, setting up strong foundations to end a business, start a business. What do I need to put aside in order to make sure that I am moving forward with a space of control, honoring, depth, growth, and love where my money is concerned. So if anything comes up in my business, I have that choice. I'm not spending before I make. I'm making and spending in alignment to what is true for me. I'm using discernment where my money is concerned instead of just trusting others. Personally, as a highly sensitive empath, it's easy to get caught up in the energy of others who think that they have a higher vision for you. I truly believe as spiritual entrepreneurs and those who are sensitive to energy, we really have to just keep getting used to coming into the sense of what feels in complete alignment for me. Every decision that I've made moving into this new iteration of my business now comes from here. And then I have my heart sweatshirt on to kind of show it. It literally comes from the inside out, as opposed to somebody telling me there's an external thing that will solve, fix, or make my business grow bigger, faster, using their formula, all that. I'm not attached to that anymore. I truly believe whatever lights me up here and I expand out will be the growth that I am looking forward to. So just be conscientious. That's what this vlog is about for me, about where your current relationship with money is. Are you activating an internal addiction with your nervous system, or are you having a healthy relationship with your money? What would it look like for you to be able to build something that feels so generous to your soul? And what would the parameters or the boundaries look like that where money is concerned? Because money is just simply another relationship. I believe we're all meant to have an unlimited amount of money. And I just think that the path that we take to receiving it gets to be chosen by us. And if you are in a literal dating relationship with money, would you want it to be built on crisis and like, oh my God, I don't know if you're going to show up for me or not show up for me. And like, are you going to call? Are we going to like have another date? Or are you going to just go out like ghost me for a while and then come back? Like, how would you want to nurture and foster that relationship? And what feels clean to your energy? What feels like you are honoring your values and your beliefs and your morals that you can then step into next, growth expansion from that state of really giving yourself the true experience of listening to your own inner guidance, health, and wellness. And that, my friends, is why I am moving into my husband's family's house in January for a few months so that we can even build a bigger buffer in our financial landscape so that we are actually stepping into the next level of both our expansion from a state of like, not abundance, I'm saying that word too much, but like nest egg, like a little, I see a dragon sitting on its hoard a little bit, but like much more giving than that, but like almost having that safety and that protection and that nest egg underneath. And I'm excited for this. And I think it's the most amazing decision that I've ever made financially. And it feels really weird because some people would think moving in with your in-laws is a dirty, weird, like failure type of thing. But for me, it is the best, strongest in alignment decision for my husband and I to step forward into what our future looks like financially from a very grounded, healed place. And so I'll keep you guys updated because soon you won't see this background. I'll be in an office in their house, and I'll continue posting honestly about what this experience feels like. And let me know if this lands with you. Hit the like button. Let me know that you liked this video. Comment below anything you would like to know about as I vlog about what truly happened as I completely crashed my $500,000 business and how I am doing whatever steps are required to build into the next iteration of a very clean, very structured, very tidy. I'm very excited about this business. And if you feel this message could be really supportive to somebody, please share it with any communities and always leave comments because I love engaging with you guys. And I cannot wait to share more about this journey with you.